Alysa Liu stood at the center of the ice in the Medialum Forum. And for music, the first time in the history of the modern Olympic Games, the world did not see an ice princess. Music, they saw a 20-year-old woman who looked like she was having the absolute time of her life. Music, it is February 2026, and the women's individual figure skating final has reached music its fever pitch. On the air inside the arena is a pressurized vacuum of expectation, music, thick with the technical tension of quadruple rotations and the silent prayers of coaches. But when the opening notes of Elisa's Freakate, music, a high-energy Lady Gaga medley featuring Edge of Glory, echoed through the rafters, music, the entire atmosphere shifted. She did not look like an athlete, music, executing a stressful job. She looked like a performer inviting 12,000 strangers to a private party. Yet the routine that followed was a masterclass in modern charisma. Every jump was landed with a flow out that earned massive bonus points from the judges. Music, but it was her face between the elements that captured the global audience. She was laughing. She was making abused, oopsie faces at the judges when she caught a minor edge. And she was radiating a type of pure music, unfiltered joy that the sport of figure skating had arguably never seen on an Olympic stage. When the final chords rang out and she saw the number one flash on the Jumbotron, a 24-year American drought had finally been ended. But for those watching, the gold medal was not the biggest story. The real story was the girl who had once walked away from it all because she simply could not breathe under the weight of a crown she never asked for. To understand why Elisa's joy in Milan felt so radical, and why it resonated so deeply with an American audience, you have to look at the music shadow she lived in as a child. Before she was a rebel, she was a machine. Alysa was born in 2005 in Clovis, California, and was immediately fast-tracked into the elite world of figure skating by her father, Arthur Liu. Her childhood was a project of epic proportions. Her father, Music, famously invested over $1 million in her career before she even reached high school. She was a biological anomaly. The youngest Music United States national champion in history at just 13 years old, breaking a record held by Tara Lenski for over 2 decades. She was the first American woman to land a triple axel and a quadruple jump in the same program, pushing the technical horizon of the sport further than anyone thought possible. But the prodigy title came with a staggering, invisible price. Her life was a rigid, isolated grid of 5 a.m., as wake-up calls and homeschooling conducted in the back of a car between practice sessions. Music. She was a natural extrovert living in a psychological bubble that kept her away from her peers while exposing her to the relentless 24/7 scrutiny of the internet. By the time she reached the Beijing 2022 Olympics at age 16, she was landing technical masterpieces music for a sport she had come to loathe. While the world saw her finishing a respectable 6th in Beijing, and Alysa was secretly counting down the seconds music until she could take her skates off for good. She later admitted to the press that she low-key really hated skating. She felt that the sport had stolen her identity and replaced it with a scorebook. So, just weeks after the season ended in 2022, she shocked the global skating community by announcing her retirement at an age when most skaters are just beginning their prime. She did not just walk away, she vanished into the normal world. Now, for 2 full years, Alysa Liu's skates gathered rust in a closet. In fact, she admitted that for a long time, she did not even know where they were. She had effectively deleted her past life to make room for a future she actually, Music, wanted. During the sabbatical, she did everything the traditional skating world told her she should not. She enrolled at UCLA to study psychology, finally experiencing the normal social interactions, late-night study sessions, and campus life she had been denied during her years of isolation. She traded the sound of blades on ice for the sound of boots on gravel. trekking to the base camp of Mount Everest to seek the thin, wild air of the Himalayas, she reclaimed her body from the rigid, often problematic ice princess aesthetic that had defined her youth. She dyed her hair with bold raccoon stripes, experimented with piercings, and developed a style that was alt-rock and expressive, eyed music. She was living what she called her best life, far away from the judges' scorecards and the expectations of a national federation. But as she told reporters in Milan, something unexpected shifted during those years of normalcy. She realized that she didn't hate the skating. She hated the music pressure. Away from the expectations of being a savior of American skating, she found herself missing the physical sensation of the wind on her face, music, and the dopamine hit of a perfectly executed rotation. In early 2024, she laced up her skates, music, in secret at a public rink. There were no coaches, no cameras, and no one measuring her worth in points. She just wanted to see if the joy was still there. Music was, but this time she made a pact with herself. If she came a music back, it would be on her terms or not at all. When Alysa Liu announced her comeback music for the 2026 season, the old guard of the skating world was deeply music skeptical. They did not understand her new relaxed attitude. They did not understand why she was carrying anime plushies, specifically a Chainsaw Man Poeta, to major competitions, or why she was laughing after falls. But Alysa had a secret weapon that her younger self never possessed: agency. For the first time, she was the one in charge. She chose her music. She chose her edgy costumes, and she chose to prioritize her mental health above technical perfection. She joined forces with teammates Amber Glenn and Isabel Levito to form the Blade Angels, a sisterhood that chose support over the bitter rivalry that often destroys young women in the sport. Earlier in the Milano Cortina Games during the team event, Alysa proved her mental armor was impenetrable. Caught in a massive security motorcade gridlock, while she arrived at the arena with only minutes to spare before her short program, most athletes would have spiraled into a panic. Alysa simply burst through the doors, laced up her skates, and delivered a program that helped secure Team USA's repeat gold. When she landed a jump with a slight wobble, she did not grimace. She flashed abused, funky facial expression music that she later described as her oopsie moment. This oopsie energy became her superpower, ID music. She had already survived walking away, so she no longer feared the consequences of failing on the scoreboard. This psychological freedom allowed her to stay loose while her rivals were physically shaking with nerves. While others were obsessing over the stakes, Alysa was seen eating udon and chatting about her favorite anime series just minutes before her gold medal inning run. The individual free skate in Milan was the culmination of this new philosophy. By skating to Lady Gaga's edge of glory and applause, she was sending a direct message to the traditionalists. Figure skating can be fun, modern, and authentically you. Her technical breakdown was a marvel of efficiency rather than desperation. She didn't chase the high-risk quads that had once broken her body, and instead she focused on quality of execution. Every jump was landed with a grace music and a flow that earned massive bonus points from the panel. Her spins were perfectly centered, and her footwork was so intricate and rhythmic music that it looked like she was dancing in a club rather than competing for an Olympic title. But the real magic was happening in her eyes and her connection to the audience. The BBC noted that she looked like she was having the time of her life, a phrase rarely used to describe the most stressful 4 minutes in professional sports. She was music performing for the people, inviting the world to share in her recovery. Yet when she crossed the finish line and realized she had clinched the gold, she didn't look like she had conquered a mountain. She looked like she had just finished a great night out with music friends. She proved that a relaxed champion is a dangerous champion. With this gold medal, Alysa Liu officially ended a 24-year gold medal drought for American women in music individual figure skating. Since Sarah Hughes won in 2002, the U.S. program had lived in the shadow of international music powerhouses, desperately searching for a prodigy who could stand on the top step. Ironically, they found that savior in the girl who had quit. Alysa did not win by copying the old systems of overtraining or robotic consistency. She won by being the most human person on the ice. The Guardian pointed out that her victory represents a fundamental music shift in how the sport operates, and it proves that longevity and mental health are not music, just nice to have. They are technical advantages that allow an athlete to perform under the music ultimate pressure. Her gold medal is a message to every young athlete who feels the suffocation, music of expectation. It says that you can walk away. You can have a life outside the arena, music, and you can return on your own terms. She has replaced the ice princess archetype with the rebel queen. She's showing that your identity is not tied to your rotation count, music, but to your heart. She is the first relatable GOAT in the history of the sport, a champion who breaks her own medal and just laughs music about it. Success for Alysa Liu in Milan isn't just about the gold medal around her neck. Music? It is about the smile that never left her face throughout the entire 2 weeks in Italy. Music? She showed the world that greatness isn't about how much you can suffer. Mito music. It is about how much you can choose. She chose to quit when the sport became toxic. She chose to return when the joy music came back. She chose her raccoon hair, her oopsie faces, and her Lady Gaga anthems. And in the end, she chose to be happy, which turned out to be the most winning strategy of all. She stood on that podium in the heart of Milan, the American flag rising above her. And she did not look like a machine that had been polished for years. And she looked like a girl who had lived 1,000 lives in 20 years music, and had finally found the one that fit her perfectly. Alysa Liu did not just win a gold medal, she won her life back. Music. And in 2026, that was the most beautiful routine of all. Milan belongs to her. The drought is officially over. Music. And the rebel queen is still smiling because this time she is skating for herself,